Testing. Hello everybody, thank you for coming. If you are an 8th grade parent and your student will be coming to Chippewa Valley High School next year, you are in the right place. And we are glad to have you here. My name is Todd Distelrath. I'm the principal, the campus principal. So you'll get to know me over the next 4 years. You'll spend more time next year with the principal of the 9th grade center, Mr. Williams. But both of us are here to help and support you. With that said, I'm going to first turn it over to a staff member here in our building to talk about our internship program, and then we'll get started with the presentation.
Good evening, everyone. I just real quick wanted to take 60 seconds. I know that you guys are not approaching senior year yet, but this is an announcement for the whole Chippewa Valley community. My name is Christy Walker, and I teach 3 hours a day here at the high school, teach accounting, and the other half of my day I spend coordinating our internship students. We're fortunate enough at Chippewa Valley to have 13 career and technical education programs that range from automotive to construction to design to engineering to business to finance to marketing to medical. And in your senior year, if you choose to do so, you can take internship and leave school an hour early or 2 hours early to have real world experience working in one of those industries. Where we need parent help and community help is we need great places for our students to go work. So if you work for a business that would like to host a student intern, or you own a business that would like to host a student intern, we're in a labor shortage right now, as everybody knows. I will be in the curriculum fair at the business table, and I have tons of information if you think your employer or yourself would like to do that, okay? Have a wonderful night, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chippewa Valley. Before I start, I just wanted to also introduce you to a math teacher in the back, Mr. O'Sear. If you want to give us a wave, thank you. He'll also be at our curriculum fair at the math table. So if you have questions regarding our math curriculum or math placement, he'll be able to help with that. So we did some introductions. We met our campus principal, and again, Mr. Williams, our 9th grade center principal. In the back is our most veteran 9th grade center, Mrs. Van Opum. She's our assistant principal. And with me tonight is Mrs. Wall. She's one of our counselors at the 9th grade center. I am Mrs. Frohock. I'm the other 9th grade counselor. And also with us is our intern, Mrs. Schwayat, that's been helping out this year. We're hoping to take about maybe 40 minutes of your time and cover what's up here, which is some graduation requirements, class selections, how we place your students in classes, and use NWEA data to do so. We're going to briefly talk about study skills and the help available at the 9th grade center. We'll talk about the importance of getting your student involved in our many, many clubs and activities that we offer. We're going to encourage you and explain ways to communicate both with us as a staff and the technology that's available to stay abreast of what's happening on campus. And then lastly, we'll encourage you to visit our fair, and we'll provide a brief opportunity for questions after. All right, so what you see on the board is what is required to graduate from Chippewa Valley High School. As you can see, the 4 is going to be 4 years or 4 credits, and this is probably the biggest difference from middle school. In middle school, students got grades, which was great if they were good, or not so great if they weren't so good. In high school, you're earning credits. So by passing a class, you earn a credit towards graduation. If you don't pass that class, you start falling behind. So in English, you need 4 years or 4 full credits to graduate. And same in math, 4 years and 4 credits. Science, you need 3. Social studies, 3. World language has a 2-year requirement of the same language. You can see the notation that one of those years can be substituted by an additional CTE or CVHS credit. Physical education, you need a half a credit to graduate. For those of you that may have an older student that went through Chippewa or really any area high school, it used to be 1 full credit of gym was required, and then you could substitute a half by participating in a sport. Now that has changed. All students only need a half a credit of gym to graduate. You also need a half a credit of health to graduate. There's a lot of seats here in the middle for those folks still walking in. VIP seats too up front, if you want to come join me. And then that leaves 4 full credits of electives. So there'll be lots of opportunity to choose business classes and other classes that we offer in our electives area. The magic number is 22 to get out of Chippewa with a high school diploma. And again, they can't be 22 credits of just gyms and aerobics and like pottery, the fun stuff. They have to also be checking these boxes off in the core curriculum classes. What a typical 9th grade schedule looks like is on this screen. For our Chippewa Valley students, we will be giving them a booklet. So this is in that booklet on page 4. That booklet is also found online, so you'll be able to have a copy of this as well. Most students will be in, all students, will be in an English class, either regular English 9 or accelerated English, a biology class, either regular or honors, a history class, which is global history, and for those following the process, which we'll talk about, there's an option for advanced placement world history. All students take a math class, and that is based on their current math and how they're doing, and again, their NWEA scores. After those 4 cores, that leaves your elective choices. Most freshmen take that half a year of gym that's required, along with that half a year of health that's required. There's a lot of reasons that this is a good idea to get it out of the way. You meet people in gym, there's no homework in gym, so you can focus on those cores. There is also no pool in our 9th grade center. So if you wait to take gym as a sophomore, you will be swimming. And it's a beautiful pool, it's gorgeous, but I know a lot of times the students don't want to have to deal with that. So if you want to get gym out of the way without a swim unit, you definitely want to do it your freshman year. And then that leaves you a full hour of an elective. This would be an opportunity to take your foreign language if you wanted to start this year, or a different elective, you're a band student or a choir student. This is also where we would assign a help class if needed, and again, I'll talk about that. When we talk about NWEA tests, I know a lot of times students get frustrated, they're given every year. What we have found is these results are very indicative of how students do in their classes. So we use this data to place students either in honors classes or in health classes. So we will pre-schedule Chippewa Valley students from the middle school level into those core classes. We will choose their math, we will choose their English, we will choose whether or not they go into honors science. The only class that they will have the ability to apply for would be that AP World. Up here in red is previous scores that have been used. And again, we look at grades, we look at the scores, we listen to teacher feedback, and then our data team needs to pre-schedule you in those core classes. That being said, when your student goes to enroll and they see their classes in the computer, because again, we'll be at their middle school helping them do this, they'll know what core classes they were scheduled in. If there's any concerns, please call us. We want them to be successful. We want them to be appropriately placed. We realize there's things that go on outside. Maybe they're in travel hockey and they're gone a ton and they're stressing out about being in all honors classes. Maybe they're not a great test taker but have done really well and do want to challenge themselves. So don't get overly frustrated if you see something that we pre-scheduled. We're open to communicating about having them appropriately placed. So just reach out and let us know. And then again, as always, please encourage your student. For students that are here, please take these tests seriously because we absolutely use this data to help place you. For students who have struggled in math or ELA, we do offer help and build it into student schedules. We offer a math focus and an English block class. We started this years ago when the Michigan Merit Curriculum really increased, starting everyone in algebra and increasing the 4-year requirement for English. And we worried about students who were going to struggle because if you were to fail one of those first years of math or English, you're already off track to graduate, which nobody wants. So we ended up building in some support. We offer a math focus class, which is like an algebra support class and helps. And we also offer what's called English block. And these classes are designed to kind of grab those students who maybe are testing a little bit lower than grade level and bring them up. So when they go to schedule in their middle schools, they may see one or possibly even both of these classes in the computer. And although I know that can sometimes feel a little disappointing, please know that it is there to help. Tutoring's expensive. And I don't know about you, but I can't really help my student in math anymore, my high school student. So be happy that it's built right into their schedule to help them be successful. We want to provide that help now to make the next 3 years of high school easier. Reading doesn't go away. It's in your history books, in your biology books. And again, math all builds on algebra. There's an Algebra 2 requirement later in high school. Algebra is part of geometry in any pre-calculus class. So we just want to provide that help right away in that 9th grade year. But once again, if you feel it's a mistake, if you're really against the added help, then give us a call. We can have a conversation. We want them to be appropriately placed and appropriately supported. I briefly mentioned earlier about the advanced placement opportunities. We do offer AP Global History. Our teacher, Mr. Dimitri, is here. He's going to be here later. There's also a video explaining the class and the curriculum on our website. It is a wonderful class. It is a hard class. So there's absolutely going to be some more work involved. Because of that, because it requires a commitment from your student, there is a little bit of a process if they want to take AP World History. There is an application. It is found on our 9th grade counseling website. They do need to demonstrate academic achievement in their current middle school. And we will also be looking at the NWEA scores again to make sure they're reading actually above that level. For those who are unfamiliar with AP curriculum, it is considered college level curriculum. There is an opportunity at the end of the class to earn college level credit. An AP test is given, and that is a national test. So whether you're at Chippewa or L'Anse Creuse or any high school in the country, everyone takes the exact same advanced placement world history test. And if a student scores high enough, some colleges will accept that credit. So for your advanced students, it is a very nice way to start earning college credit if they're up for the challenge. These applications need to be submitted by March 11th. There are limited seats, and again, there is a review process. So if that's something one of your students are considering, please make a notation. This is going to be the screen that talks about some of our electives that are available. We have some art classes such as ceramics, photography, painting, and drawing. You can see where it says 0.5 next to that class. That means it's a half a year class. So anything that says 1.0 has to be taken for the full year. If it says 0.5, then you would want to take another 0.5 to kind of match those up. For example, earlier when I said a half a year of health and a half a year of gym, it takes like a full year's worth of an elective. We offer music classes, so if you are a band student, all students get placed into concert band. I believe our director talks to our current middle schools, and some students will be advised to possibly go up in level bands. But for their decision, they all choose concert band. Our director communicates with us if there's some movement within the levels. We offer men's and treble chorus for women. And again, these are expected to take for a full year. The foreign languages we offer are French, Spanish, and German. They also have to be taken for 1 full year. In our career tech and education program, you can see the different electives such as keyboarding, tech design. We offer graphic design and yearbook, sewing, and nutrition education. And again, just to point out that there's a 1.0, meaning a full year for some of those, or a 0.5. Many of these classes are also taught here at the main building. We have students traveling. There's like a covered walkway most of the part between our buildings. They exit in one area at the 9th grade center and walk over. All of our band students have done it. All of our choir students have done it. Some of the CTE programs are run over here also. It does require them to be timely. They have to kind of move, and whether it's raining or snowing, so grab a hoodie and they travel on over. There's some really great opportunities here. It just requires a little bit of a commitment from a student to make sure they are getting whatever they need before they leave. And if they arrive a little bit late, it's excused, but they just have to ask the questions, like, hey, did I miss anything when they return to class? And then again, if a student is pre-scheduled into Math Focus or the Read 180, then that would take away from an elective. So when people are disappointed, sometimes that is wise. Maybe they were really hoping for an elective, and we're adding in a health class. Please note that all of these classes are still available your 10th grade year, your 11th grade year, and your 12th grade year. And sometimes we just need to kind of focus on getting those academics up to par before we can do some of the fun things. But please remember, you can always call us, and we can always have a discussion about it. All right, I'm going to pass this over to Mrs. Wall.
Okay, good evening. Thank you for braving the rain and coming out tonight. I'm going to talk about testing out. This is an opportunity for some students who may want to bypass the class. And it is a difficult challenge, but some students are up for it and do want to try it. And what it is it provides the student the opportunity to, if they're competent in a certain subject area, and it could be in any subject area, they can test out to advance to the next level. So how it works is there is a process, because when they there is a bunch of information on our guidance website if you want to read up on it. Of course, call us and talk to us more about it. There is an application process where it needs to be completed prior to April 29th. So it won't, if you're considering maybe doing this, it won't affect the actual scheduling right now. Like let's just say, for example, I'll use Spanish. Like say you think you have some competency in Spanish and think you can jump to Spanish 2. You would still enroll like in a Spanish 1 class, and then after the test, which is taken in June, that's when all the testing takes place. We'll be notified after that, and if you find that your child does pass, let's say Spanish, for example, we will go ahead and place them into Spanish 2. So if it's something you want to think about, you have till April 29th to do that, or call us or discuss it. But as you see, you do have to earn a 78% or better on that test in order to receive the credit. And how it works as far as your transcript is, it would show, again, I'm using the example for Spanish, it would show Spanish 1 credit, it's like CR. So it would show, so for futures, going to college credit, and then they would just be placed in. The only thing I do want to warn you though is that not all colleges accept that credit. They like to see a grade. So if you want to explore that, or you have a certain college you're looking into, I would suggest you, touch base with that college first to be sure they're going to accept that credit. So again, it is an opportunity to advance to a next level. That way it gives you an opportunity to take some maybe different level or opportunity classes here at Chippewa. But like I said, it is a difficult, there's no tutoring provided. It's something that there's a small rubric that the state provides that shows you some of the topics, but it really is self-driven by the student, where they teach themselves the curriculum, or if they have a lot of competency in that curriculum, then they may want to attempt that. But again, they do need to earn a 78%. Okay. So if you do want to learn more, it is on our guidance website, or feel free to call one of us. We'll be happy to discuss it with you further. Okay, one thing we always like to mention, coming into 9th grade, it's a big year. Ms. Brock and I have been working with 9th graders for a long time, and we enjoy it because it's one of the biggest transition years for students. And sometimes it's a awakening, like we already talked about. Now they have to earn their credits. So if they've been kind of maybe coasting along, we know we've had a couple last couple years, we're all adjusting, getting back to this normal routine. We just want to make sure that they are getting into those good study habits. So we always like to talk about this now at this meeting, especially the students that are here tonight. If you've been kind of struggling and getting back in gear, let's start doing some of these good habits now, and definitely when we start next year in high school and you're trying to earn all those credits that we shared already, that you're going to earn all those. So just a few things. I think a lot of this is basic information. We're all familiar with it, but it's always good to hear it again. Like number one, when you come here, you're going to find in high school, you're going to have maybe 1 to 2 hours of homework a night. Sometimes it's just reviewing those notes, or reviewing some note cards, or whatever the teachers suggest. And of course, number 2, and I'm sure parents, there's a lot of distractions, those phones, those iPads, those video games, the TVs. Please, it helps a lot if you can encourage your child when they're going to sit down and do that homework. Please make sure they're in an area that is well lit, distraction-free, so that way they can get their homework done. Sometimes I have parents say, they're working on that homework for 5 hours, and I'm like, well, how often do they look at that Snapchat in between, or and I know it. So make sure that it's distraction-free, they get that homework done in that 1 or 2 hours, and then they'll have the rest of the night. Attendance, definitely attendance matters. Please make sure that your child is getting to school. As we know, regular attendance and being on time is going to help. When you get to high school and they're missing all that instruction, sure, they can go to the Schoology page and find that information, but it's different when you're in class, hearing you instruction and exactly what needs to be done. So please encourage them to be there. Students, help your parents out. Make sure you're getting up on time. Take advantage of the bus service that we have. If you've ever been out here in the morning, there's a lot of traffic at the high school, students driving. So if you have the bus transportation that's provided, I strongly encourage you to do that. Help your student get organized and stay organized. It's always good to make sure you're using an agenda if needed. maybe look at their folders once in a while, their binders, make sure they're cleaned out. I know sometimes in high school you want to say, oh, they're 14, I'm going to take a break. Well, sometimes they still need that extra guidance to make sure they are staying organized, using an agenda if needed, just so they're on top of their assignments. Just a few things, help create note cards. You know, our teachers do a great job of a lot of different websites and different things they use and tools to, you know, help make learning fun. And I know a lot of students are probably familiar with the Quizlet. We just use that as one example. We always go into the classrooms in the fall too as counselors and share some study skills, and we'll talk about that more. But there's just a lot of great opportunities. We like to share this one because the teachers set up a lot, and students can set up their own Quizlets as well. Doing well on tests. This is something we hear a lot from students, they don't do well. A lot of times just because they're not preparing, you know, and that's where that 1 to 2 hours a night comes in handy. Getting ready, not just cramming the night before or procrastinating. So just make sure that you are literally asking questions all the time, knowing exactly what you need to study, and you're going to see those test scores go up. There's a lot of free online tutoring resources. Khan Academy is a great one. What's nice about Khan Academy, besides the fact that there is tutoring in all subject areas, there's also some test prep for the PSAT and SAT, so, and it's all free, so, but it's fantastic. I know a lot of students have used it for math over the year because they can literally plug in a subject that they're wondering, and a tutor will come right, you know, an example of tutoring will come on. So like Ms. Frohawk said, you know, sometimes that math, you get to algebra and it's been a long time since you've seen that. So, you know, remind your child, what is that website, you know, Khan Academy, and then plug it in, and you'll be, it's amazing how well the resource is in the videos that they show. And then lastly, you know, getting to high school, we do start at 7:15, so it's a new adjustment. It's early. Like I said, take the bus. Students are getting on the bus just after at 6:30 a.m., so it's a new adjustment with your schedule. So I always like to encourage, like, getting to bed, you know, getting your rest, relaxation, you know, eating breakfast before you go. It is an adjustment. We start early, but we're out by 2:11. So it may take a little bit, but you'll get there, get your routine down. So parents, it helps if you can encourage that regular bedtime for your child. And we mention all this again because we want to make sure students are earning their credits, because if they do fail anything, it's not going to go away and they will have to repeat that. Okay, you guys all picked up a red folder when you came in, so a lot of this is in your folder. This is some of the common questions we got over the years. Like I just said, when do we start? When does the school day end? So it gives you a general idea of how the school day starts at 7:15 with a 6-minute passing time, and then we end at 2:11. And always a big deal is, when do I eat lunch? We do have 2 lunch hours. We call it A lunch or C lunch. And students will find that out right on the first day of school. They'll either eat lunch before 8 or before 4th hour or after 4th hour. So it gives you some examples of how it works. And sometimes they're like, lunch at 10:30, but when we have an early morning by 10:30, a lot of students are ready to eat. So they'll find that out when school starts. Tutoring resources. You'll see on that blue sheet that's in your folder, we gave some examples of some tutoring resources that you can even start using now in 8th grade, and then can carry over when we start into the high school. We do offer a few opportunities, like right now we have after school free homework club twice a week in the main building. We have National Honor Society students that tutor. We have some teachers in our district that tutor. So it outlines a lot of that in your, on the sheet I gave you. Clubs and organizations and athletics. As you guys see, there's a goldenrod piece of paper in your folder that lists everything. So it's always fun to kind of start looking at that now, and you see we have quite an extensive list. We feel there's something for everybody. You know, not every student is wanting to do the athletics. So we say, let's look at a club or organization, something to do it. We find that makes your academics in your high school, you know, we find students who do this, they're doing better academically, because it just teaches them better time management, you know, they're having more fun, they're meeting new friends. So we like to give this to you now, so you can take that home, show your child, and say, hey, why don't you think about doing one of these clubs come fall? And just when they get to school, you're going to start hearing the announcements. And Mr. Williams sends announcements out once a week too, and he always advertises all the club's meetings. So we can start looking at that now, and then all the sports are on the back of the sheets as well. And a lot of our fall sports, they will start some summer training and tryouts, like even in the spring, like we have our cheer tryouts, dance tryouts. So pay attention. I know we announce these things at the middle school. You can visit our athletic website. So feel free to do that, but we just wanted you to have a condensed list of all the clubs, activities, and the sports available. So we really encourage you to have at least try one activity or sport, and I think they'll really settle in well by doing that. And then lastly, in your folder, you're gonna find something called a Pride Matrix. This is part of our PBIS, which is a positive behavior initiative that we've incorporated a few years back. Once a month, we highlight an area of our Pride Matrix. So we wanted you to know what we talk about. So if you ever hear maybe your child come home and say something they learned, like for example, Pride stands for prepared, respectful, integrity, dedicated, and engaged. So what we do is once a month we focus on one of those areas, and you can see on the matrix that you have in your folder some of the things that reinforce so it encourages the positive behavior. And then as staff, we wear red t-shirts and really show the students we take this seriously, and we find that it really improves our behavior. So we just wanted you to know what we do on those days. Okay, this is important, stay in touch. And I know some of you, the majority of you are here from our middle school. I know we get some people sitting in our audience that are considering coming to Chippewa. Either way, we want to make sure you're staying in touch. So if you're coming from the middle school and you already have a Power School Parent Portal account set up, you are all set. That will follow you right into the high school and you are good to go. If you're going to be coming to Chippewa and enrolling with us, at your time of enrollment, you will be setting up a Parent Portal account. And if you're not familiar with it, what it does is it gives you 24/7 access to your students' grades, their attendance, looking at their assignments, if they're turning it in. So like we said earlier, we want to make sure that, if you haven't, or if you've been in our middle schools and you haven't been using it, I really encourage you to set that up and start using it again. Our teachers do a fantastic job of keeping it up to date, so you can go on there, take a look, and see how your child's doing. Okay, so definitely do that. School Messenger, this is something again, if you go to our middle school, you probably get a lot, but the key thing with School Messenger is that where you get your messages through emails, phone calls, so make sure you always have the most updated information to us. So if you happen to change an email or change your phone number or even change your address, we don't do a lot of mailings anymore, but in case we do, we want to make sure we always have your updated information. So if you have an accurate email on file, that's probably the main way you get things. We even email report cards. So that we want to make sure you're getting those. So if you ever change anything, please call the office so we can update it. And like I said, Mr. Williams sends out weekly School Messenger announcements. So you definitely want to make sure you get those because he always gives you the most updated information. Schoology. This is something that we've been using a lot the last 2 years. And you do have access to your students' Schoology pages. All you need to do in order, if you haven't done so, all you need to do is contact one of your students' teachers and they can provide the access code. So even right now in the middle school, if you don't follow your students' Schoology page or pages, feel free to just contact one of their teachers and they can do that. And then you can do the same thing when you get to the high school. And that way you can see the assignments and everything that's listed, due dates, everything the teachers put on. So honestly, if you do all this, you're always going to be in the know. You're always going to know the students' grades. You're always going to be able to see their assignments. So I really encourage you, if you haven't done any of this or utilizing it, I strongly encourage you to do that. And then lastly, of course, our website has a wealth of information on it. So, browse through. We have our main campus webpage, and we also have our own 9th grade center webpage. And we do have our counseling webpage. So after tonight, if you're finding you're getting a lot of information, go to our counseling webpage, and there's a scheduling tab. And everything we talked about tonight, our presentation, our students watched a video the other day in their middle school, the student videos on there, the AP World applications on there, everything, the course booklets on there, so everything we have, feel free to go there and look at all that information. Okay, so this is how we're going to handle the registration. So a couple days ago, everyone in the middle school watched our video and they got a 9th grade course booklet and they should have came home and showed you a blue course form. This is a form that they're gonna use as a worksheet. So when Mrs. Frohock and I come and Mrs. Shui had to visit the middle schools the week of March 21st, we are gonna sit down with, we're gonna bring all the students in and we're gonna sit down with them and help them schedule their classes in Power School. So what we need you to do is, in the meantime, think about those elective choices you like your son or daughter to take. You will sign it, your student will sign it, we will collect those, and we will have them enter their classes in Power School. So you have a couple weeks to think about this. So in the meantime, if you need to talk to your student or teachers about, maybe if you're considering, you're gonna find out at the day on the March 21st that week, they'll find out where they get placed in. But if you want to have some discussion with teachers and make sure this is gonna be the accurate placement or where you think they may go, you can always start those conversations at conferences. But at that time, we will help every child enter that in. Now again, if you're sitting here right now and you're gonna be enrolling at Chippewa, or you may live out of district and you want to do school of choice, we do have, if you go to the district homepage, it's very easy. As soon as you open up, there's a big box that says new student registration. If you click on that, it takes you right to the enrollment form or the school of choice application. So you can go there, you enroll with our enrollment office, and then they let us know when you complete all your paperwork, and then we'll take it over from there. And then lastly, when you're considering when you're working on your forms and considering your elective choices, please choose those classes carefully. So if a student comes to us on the first day of school and say, I don't want to do Spanish anymore, I want German, we're going to say, sorry. As soon as all these classes are in March, we start building our master schedule. It's quite the process in how we pick our classes, how many students go in each class, what teachers teach each class, so it's a process. So we would love to say, sure, we'll give you this lunch hour, or we'll give you this elective, oh, you want this, but unfortunately we can't. Or it's gonna be no, no, no. So we want you to take the consideration in now, truly think, do I really wanna do ceramics, or do I really wanna do Spanish? Do I wanna do health and gym, which we encourage, or whatever it is. Whatever elective you wanna do, choose that carefully. Because that day, when we go in the week of March, we're gonna enter it in, and then that's it, we're done. And then we start building the schedule, and then there will be no changes after that time, okay? All right, so just a couple last things as we wrap up here. As we mentioned earlier, there is a curriculum fair going on tonight. Once you're done, we have some student escorts that will show you where the cafeteria is, and that's where all our teachers set up. So if you want to learn about any more of the programs, our school store is set up. So if you want to buy some spirit wear, Chippewa Valley spirit wear, that's available. So all our teachers are representing all the different career tech education programs. So even if you want to start thinking ahead, maybe learn more about our tech design program or our marketing program, whatever it is, we have all our teachers are out there and they can answer some questions. Or if you just want to browse around and see the school, you can do that. A couple of things though, we will be sticking around to answer any questions. You can feel free to come up if you have any individual questions. One thing we do want you to do though is make sure you save a date for Big Red Check-In. That's the next step after we do the registration in March. Right now we have a tentative date set for August 25th, so if you want to mark your calendar. We say tentative because we have a few things we got to work out, but we're hoping that's going to be the date. If anything, it may run into the week after, but that is the date we're shooting for, so if you're planning vacations or summer camps, whatever, maybe try to keep that date available. But that will be the next step. And what happens at Big Red Check-In is you and your student can come to the 9th grade center. They'll have a tentative schedule at that time, walk the building, try their locker out. They will get a new laptop at that point. So it's a good time to get comfortable a couple weeks before school starts. When we dismiss in a little bit, there's going to be two things that are going to be happening. Mr. Dimitri is here now. He's our AP World History teacher. Like I said, he did put a video in the application on the website, but what we'll do is anyone who's interested, he's going to come stand over here in the front corner. So if anyone wants to ask more personal questions, he's just going to say some brief words, help you out with anything. He'll be over in that corner. There may be a few of you sitting here who have students with IEPs or receive the special education services. We do have that meeting that starts at 7 o'clock in the community room, which is right outside the auditorium. So they will be there as well. So you can go to either one of see Mr. Dimitri or go to that meeting at 7 or browse the curriculum fair. Before we dismiss for any individual questions, is there any group questions that anyone wants to ask that might apply to the whole group that maybe myself can answer or administration? So we must have covered it all. Oh, right here. Not all the elective classes. We do have keyboarding, tech design, and all our world language classes are in the 9th grade center. In the course booklet that the students got, it will outline which ones are in the main building and which ones are in the 9th grade center. So if you want to look at that, it will specify it more. But basically, all the art classes, choir, band, are all here. So yeah, CTE. But the typical 9th grade schedule, like we mentioned, the health, gym, they are all in the 9th grade center and the world languages. Anything else? Yeah. We do, yes, we serve breakfast and lunch. Currently it is provided for everybody right now, free of charge. I'm not sure what will happen next year. I'm sure you guys don't know either. We don't know year by year, but currently we do. Yeah. It starts at 7 o'clock, our breakfast. Usually 6:30? Oh, 6:30. 6:30. Okay. I didn't realize it was that early. Oh, and that's a good point. Actually, our doors do open at 6:30. Yes. It's really your option. You can do either way. You can start the foreign language in 9th grade, or you can start it in 10th grade. Either one. Just as long as I would probably sit down and figure out a 4-year plan of how you can fit both in. We've had students do either way. They've done health and gym and waited on foreign language, or they've done the world language and they did their gym and health even their senior year. So it's really your choice. If you think your child may want to do 4 years of a world language and they really would love it, then you may want to consider them starting it in 9th grade. Yes. What do you do if you fail English 9, like middle of the year? You just continue on. And then what happens is, when you fail a class, we have lots of options: after school credit recovery, summer school, credit recovery classes, and we'll meet with students one-on-one and we'll send information home if that's the case. But no, you just keep plugging along and hopefully you make up those credits in those options that I just shared with by graduation time. Yes. Yes, we do have our own cafeteria. You don't need to travel for lunch. For automotive technology. That's a 2-year program, automotive, so
what we gave you was the 9th grade booklet. So if you're curious about how deep these programs go and all that Chippewa Valley has to offer, the entire campus program is also available online. So you can click through those programs like automotive and medical careers. There are tons of excellent programs. What we found is when we gave those to 9th graders and parents, people got really confused and tried signing up for things that weren't available to them until they were a junior or until they were a senior. So if you're curious, please go online and look at the main building campus scheduling book, because there are excellent programs. Yeah, and students do Zello in middle school, which also helps kind of explore that booklet as well. We simplified and only pulled out the 9th grade classes that they can take for our presentation and for that booklet. But obviously there's so much available. We just try not to overwhelm everybody at this point. And automotive? I don't think automotive is available to 9th graders, and that's why it's not discussed. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, yes, that's why we didn't bring it up. But if you look in the booklet, you can see when you can start programs.
We highlighted what's just for 9th grade in that booklet, so just follow that.
If this is a 2-year class, you can't do it like 2 years straight.
For a 2-year class, if it's a block, if some classes are worth 2 credits, so that would be back-to-back during 1 year. Other programs are like, if you want Spanish 1 year and Spanish 2 the next year, then there will be multiple years. So there's just probably a few classes. I think there's an automotive, for example, that requires, I think, advanced woodworking maybe has a 2-hour block. But that, again, nothing, I think your 9th grade year would be 2 years. If you're curious, again, please look at that big booklet because it really goes into great detail and time that we didn't want to take of yours tonight. But the booklet is very informative.
We'll stick around.
Yeah, thank you so much. Please enjoy the curriculum fair. We're going to stay up here if you have personal questions or want to ask us anything. Drive safely, and we will see you in August. A big red check-in.